February, the month of love. You know, I simply love Valentine's Day. I really love the colors of pink and red together, all the heart-shaped stuff, the flowers. I have to say that Valentine's Day is actually one of my favorite holidays, but it is also a time of turmoil. When people start to see Valentine's Day as a very performative event, it kind of just loses its charm for me. It is also around this time that I start seeing like all of these love theories pop up and like oversimplified love advice, and it's just stressful. Like I'm out here trying to watch some, cute puppy videos or like seal videos just to like relax after a stressful day, and I'm out here just trying to watch my cute seals go, and then I get hit with these freaking love theory videos and it's just aggravating. And I feel aggravated because the concept of love is something that's really precious to me. I think that love is present all around us in many different ways, not just in romantic relationships. But in this case, I just feel like it's been a topic that's been on my mind because of how constantly I've been getting it in my feed, and I really want to talk about it with y'all. So to begin, let's look at what I call the Loverot phenomenon. Get it? Cause brain rot, Loverot.
Loverot is the mental and emotional fatigue that comes from consuming excessive and oversimplified relationship advice online, especially content that turns love into tests, rules, and rigid theories. It's when we start absorbing relationship content the same way we absorb brain rot, passively, repeatedly, and without context, which can leave the mind mentally foggy, emotionally numb, and weirdly exhausted over how repetitive, shallow, and overstimulating it can be. And instead of helping us understand love, it leaves us confused, anxious, and constantly second-guessing our relationships. Love rat.
Yes, so that's my little joke. Enough about jokes. So here on my laptop, I wrote at the top of my head what I've seen on the internet when it comes to theories, tests, and advice. So, let us begin. The orange peel theory, the bird test theory, the leaf theory, the February theory, the March theory, the taxi cab theory. If he wanted to, he would. The Beckham test, sprinkle theory, the elastic band theory, and there's always another man or woman. Now, those are just things that I wrote at the top of my head one day, which is what inspired this video. And while those kind of sound dumb, I would think they were satire because of how dumb they sound, but the comments kind of tell me otherwise. I have also met people that take these actually very seriously, and I'm like, really?
Which at the end of the day just causes them more stress and relationship problems.
And I always feel very flabbergasted because I don't know how we came down to this. I will see videos where they show where the partners do not pass these tests or I guess align with the theory that they're testing, and it just proves that they aren't a good partner. And I can't help but think that if these tests went south when you tried them, when you were recording them, why did you post them online? Why try to shame a person for not passing a test or theory, I guess? But why do you want to air your dirty laundry like this on the internet? Like, you're embarrassing the other person and you're also embarrassing yourself at this point. Also, these theories technically aren't really proving anything, because if you feel your relationship is wrong, that you have to test it with some TikTok video that you saw, I feel like that's not the mature way to deal with it. Maybe it's time for you to reevaluate your relationship. Maybe it's time to let go of that relationship because surely the relationship is not stable enough. Or, talk about your relationship, and if that doesn't work, then, I think it's time that we realize we have to let go rather than using a theory as an excuse to be like, well, this is why I'm breaking up with them. Like, communication is a main key in a healthy relationship, and that's like a really simplified way of saying it. It's not just about talking, it's about listening and actually communicating needs, expectations, reality, and trying to understand each other. And it's not just a one-way thing, it's a you both are trying to understand each other so you can, connect. Another thing about these videos is that they seem very performative and a lot of the time seem kind of scripted. And the ones that are actually genuine aren't as grand as the scripted ones, because the reality of things aren't as, the scripted ones, the ones we see in movies and all these things. It's making people lose kind of a sense of reality on what relationships look like most of the time. And I'm like, have we really just become so chronically online that we just live through the internet, and more importantly through what other people say or through comparison with other people's lives? Now, I also don't want to just sound negative about this topic, because at this point it just seems like I'm complaining.
She's just tired of them!
Yes, I am, but while I am tired of the chaos that these have brought online, they aren't completely meaningless either. So instead of dismissing them completely and me just yapping about them, why don't we break them down together and see what the research actually says? Why don't we start with one of the more popular ones I've seen online, which is the orange peel theory. The orange peel theory really comes down to acts of service and everyday kindness within your relationship. It's less about big, grand romantic gestures and more about the everyday small things that we live in life. For example, how do they help you in your day-to-day best basis? Do they open the pickle jar for you? Do they help you when you ask? Did they peel the orange? Are they there for you on your moments where you're feeling overwhelmed or just need someone to be there? That's when showing up really counts. And in psychology, these aren't just like cute moments, they're much more than that. This is what researchers call signals of availability and responsiveness. And attachment research shows that when your partner consistently shows up for you in these small ways, your brain starts to register them as a very secure base. So someone you can definitely count on anytime. And as you can see, there is some truth behind these tests. However, a single orange is not going to be proof that you have a healthy relationship or not. It's the consistent patterns of kindness and availability that are going to nurture that relationship. So while there is some truth to this, this is not going to determine if they're a green flag or a red flag. Acts of service are more meaningful when there's a consistent pattern. And it's not just a single isolated one, but one that you can build up over time. And doing so builds actual emotional closeness. Now that that's clear, I will be moving on to the bird theory, the leaf theory, the Beckham test, and what essentially is bits of connection. They all look different per se, but they're all basically testing the same thing. Now let me explain what bits are. Bits are basically the small ways we try to reach out to our partner, and we don't do this like consciously where we're thinking, okay, I'm showing him a leaf and I'll see how he's gonna react. We don't think about that. We don't do it purposely. We just naturally reach out to our partners in order to connect with them. And in a way, we're just trying to share a moment with them, even if it's sharing a little silly leaf I found on the ground. Another example of this would be that after a long day, you come home, you sit down, and you just talk to each other. And instead of just, the, oh, how are you? Oh, I'm doing good type of conversation, you actually engage in the conversation and go into a little bit more in-depth back and forth. Even if you both end up ranting about your day, even if you just say, what you've been thinking and stuff like that, that's connection. That's sharing something with one another. And that's actually very, very important. Not just for couples, but it's important to connect with people. And these bits of connection can actually show up in many, many different ways. It can be when you share a movie together and you're actually watching it and you're not just, on your phone while you watch the movie, but actually enjoying the movie together. When you share a moment at the park and you're just walking and enjoying the view, sending each other a funny reel and actually looking at it. I know reels can be a hassle sometimes because we'll send a lot. Guilty. But it's nice to share funny reels, funny videos, things you can enjoy together. And it's also about sharing interests. It's listening to what they're into, even if it's not your type of thing. And what matters the most isn't that these moments happen and you just do them, but it's about how the other person responds to you and how you respond to that other person. Now, the idea of bits of connection and the way this test was formed was because of professor and psychologist John Gottman, who focuses on relationships. Gottman's research found that couples who stayed together 6 years later turned towards each other's bids for connection about 86% of the time. Couples who divorced only did that 33% of the time. So whether it's the Burr theory, the Leaf theory, the Beckham test theory, or whatever other theory that you're gonna invent that tests this type of thing, we're all just testing the same thing, which is bits of connection. And in a similar fashion to what I said about the orange peel theory, it's not just a single event that happens or a single response, but it's about the consistency of many of these responses that once again builds over time. And that builds intimacy and trust. Now moving on, I'm moving to something that I don't feel is like a test, but it's more like, I don't know how to explain it. A lot of things have the word theory in it, but some of them actually do something to test it, and the other ones just like explaining or giving you advice. So I feel like this other one that I'm going into is more like love advice that I've come across to that is framed by a theory. So let's start with the rubber band theory. Or well, the elastic band theory. My bad. The essence of this theory is that far away from each other, tension builds. And if this connection is real, it will snap back towards you. And online, I've seen this theory pop up in many different ways, like it will be to explain why men pull away certain times and why they need space, why women pull away sometimes and why they need space, or on tips and advice on how to create this tension yourself with someone that you're talking to or someone you're in a relationship with. I remember a while back, this was like many moons ago, I came across a video that piqued my interest, and it was talking about this, and it was speaking on how to measure closeness and how you would create this tension and how to not be as available. And if they text you, to not text back right away, kind of count the minutes before you text, or to kind of keep an eye on how long they text. And it was just like measuring like going like this in a relationship, and it felt too calculated for me, and I just felt like I couldn't understand the concept of this. And surprisingly, these videos are quite popular. However, I don't want to complain about this. I will be debunking it and see what the research actually says about this. And my theory, or what I can connect this to, is that snapback isn't magic or a strategy, but may actually come from a well-known principle called reciprocity. There's the psychologist and author that I simply love called Walter Rizzo, and he has many books on the topics of love and also self-love. And he explains that healthy reciprocity is voluntarily. It's not something that you force through distance or manipulation. And pulling away might make someone chase you, like it might actually work, but this also creates anxiety, not just for you, but it may create anxiety for the other person, which isn't healthy. Reciprocity is about a mutual give and take. It's when both people naturally respond to each other's effort, showing care, showing interest, showing support. And it's once again that back and forth connection that just flows genuinely. A simple dance where one pulls, the other follows, and it just flows beautifully. That's what reciprocity represents. It's not rubber bands, it's not strategy, it's just two people wanting to actually be there and just flowing together with one another. Now, we're moving on to one of my last ones that I'll be covering today, which is the February/March theory. Now, this is a crazy one I've heard that dictates that either in February or March you will either break up or something will happen that will strengthen the relationship. and it frames the relationship as having a pivot point. Now, the truth behind this theory is quite simple. Relationships do go through these pivot points at some point in time. Tension, reassessment, and rough patches are quite natural in a relationship, and they're just bound to happen. And research actually supports this. In classic work on turning points in romantic relationships, Leslie Baxter and Colin Bullis interviewed both partners within 40 couples. They found that there were many different turning points, some that brought them closer, some that created distance, showing that make or break moments are a normal part of how relationships develop, and they happen at different times for different couples. So as you can see, there is truth to this theory. There are points in your relationship where you feel like it's the end, or that makes you come closer together and figure it out. The issue with this one is that it's attaching it to a calendar and actual months of, oh, this is when it's gonna happen.
And create more tension and uncertainty in our brains.
When in reality, these pivot points can happen at any time. After a life change, during a very stressful situation, unmet expectations, or when communication kind of, goes off and you're having some issues there. Now, I do have a theory on why this might be attached to the month of February, the month of love. And it's because February kind of comes with a little bit more pressure when it comes to romance. Valentine's Day creates expectations because obviously you expect to receive something just as you give something. Social media creates comparison because everyone's posting about it, and that pressure can bring already existing cracks to the surface. Sometimes you get upset about things and you don't talk about them, so then it just starts building up in there, and then I feel like this month is when you actually explode and just release everything out. Also, because relationships don't just randomly fall apart. Relationships don't just end because it's February or March or even October, because I know I did see one that was connecting it to October. I will probably put it somewhere around here, but I know I came across it. I thought that was kind of crazy. Now, what actually determines whether your relationship grows or ends is how two people choose to respond to a situation or those cracks and imbalances that you have. And I mean, these pivot points just prove that sometimes you work through these relationships and they get stronger. Other times you realize that you're in a relationship where you can't really grow anymore and it's not going anywhere. And that's not failure, that's clarity, and there's nothing wrong with something not working out. So in conclusion, the February-March theory frames a very normal relationship process as a prediction of something happening. And pivot points aren't bound to a calendar. They depend on the relationship, and they also depend on whether people are willing to work through these situations together. And as you can see, the issue with these theories aren't that they're completely wrong. It's just that they're stripped out of context and turned into very rigid rules. And I can't help but ask myself, why do we fall for the internet Loverot, and why do we cling onto it so tightly sometimes? And well, I feel like it gives us a sense of certainty and predictability, especially when love feels so uncertain and scary. And in a weird way, they kind of remind me of standardized testing. Standardized testing was created to establish an objective. They measure performance, they rank, they tell us who's doing well, and they tell us who isn't. They turn something very complex like learning into something that's very rigidly measured. And I feel like we're doing that with love as well as of late. We turn relationships into tests, pass or fail, right or wrong, green flag or red flag. Did they peel the orange? Did they react the right way? Did they pass the test? And these theories gives us a sense of control and something that feels very emotional and unpredictable. And just like standardized tests, they don't capture the full scope of, creativity, emotional intelligence, or growth. And love theories do not capture that whole context as well. They try to give answers to something small without understanding, the whole picture. Now, moving on, the algorithm also plays a huge part in this love rot phenomenon. The internet has fed us enough brain rot that now it's starting to feed us love rot. I feel like brain rot has started to evolutionize itself. And a complex topic such as love and, all of these theories cannot be explained within 30 seconds. And, with our attention span going down, I understand that short, confident rules perform better than like slow, nuanced explanations, because when it comes to reels, TikToks, etc., it's much easier to watch just like a tiny video regarding a topic. And because of that, the most simplified and 15-second eye-catching video is the one that gets rewarded, repeated, reshared until it becomes a trend and it becomes a universal truth that we take to heart and we kind of start believing in. And I don't know if you caught this, but all of these love tests and theories that I talked about, such as acts of service, bits of connection, reciprocity, pivotal points, they kind of create a whole picture. These tests only measure pieces of what makes a relationship actually strong, such as availability, reliability, connection, kindness, empathy, and reciprocity. These are the things that help a relationship navigate through these pivotal points that they will at some point reach. The only issue rises is when we oversimplify it and just minimize it into a little checklist. But I will say that in research, we measure love through actions. In psychology, when we study something as abstract as love, we have to conceptualize it. So we have conceptual variables, then we cluster to paint a bigger picture. And measuring love, we realize that it's not just one single thing, but a cluster of things. And when we look at all of these things together, we can understand what love looks like, which is why these tests and oversimplified theories miss the point. Because love in its most raw form often happens behind closed doors. I know that these romantic clips that we see online can make us like swoon and make us feel so mushy and lovey-dovey inside.
We are suckers for romance movies.
But I also know that is not love at its core. I love romance movies, but I know that's just acting. And I can almost guarantee that the most meaningful moments in a relationship happen when no one else is watching. Moments that really only live in the couple's memory. Because love isn't about these big grand gestures. Well, they can be part of love. They are not what make actual love real. A lot of time it's about repair, checking in with one another, learning each other communication styles, showing up even when it's inconvenient, knowing when to give space and when to stay. And sometimes it can even be knowing when to let go.
And the many other reminder, self-love is part of this too. When we love ourselves, we're better able to love others, more honestly and more gently. And most importantly, if we love someone, we have to see if they are good for our lives. If not, maybe that is not the place where we're supposed to be. That is self-love. We have to care for ourselves and our hearts.
And while I did say that what we see in movies is just acting, there is one particular movie that is not a romance, but I feel explains love in a very, very realistic way, I would say. There's a scene in the movie Good Will Hunting where Robin Williams explains love very well. And he talks about the little things, the little quirks, the imperfections, the things that only you notice, but that is all the more why you know you love this person. And that's a part that really stuck with me, because when I think about love, I also think that what I love the most are the things that only I get to see, and those moments that are not even captured in camera. And because love is so layered, that's why these theories and little tests just feel so off to me. Because the internet doesn't show love as it's lived, it's showing it as it's performed. And when we start to consume these type of theories, tests, or expectations over and over and over again, it becomes really easy to idealize how love should look like, and really hard to recognize when it shows up quietly in our life. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't participate in these trends, or sometimes these videos can be silly or fun, but do not use them as a way to measure your relationship, because that's when we start testing our relationship instead of tending to it. And I feel love becomes very fragile when we let the algorithm define it in such a skewed way. Because real love isn't something you pass or fail or you go based on what anyone else says. It's about how you practice it, how you tend to it. Because once again, the internet shows us love as its most idealized form, but not its most honest. And when we start to confuse the two, relationships can feel disappointing, not because they're unhealthy, but because they're human. And humans are complex just as love can be complex. Love isn't a theory to decode, it's a relationship between two people that requires understanding, and understanding sometimes takes time, takes deep, uncomfortable conversations, and repair, not a checklist. And most of the time, that happens behind closed doors, not on camera. Wow, that was a lot. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end of this video. I really appreciate it because this was a topic that I was really passionate about and I was super excited to share it with you all. I would also love to hear what you think regarding this topic, any thoughts that you have, or any experiences that you have with Loverot. If you feel comfortable, leave a comment down below. I really do make sure to read every single comment. And I really enjoy chatting and having conversations with you guys. I'll also be making more videos like these soon, so if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you till next time. Bye bye!